Well, hello there, Mr. Birdman. What you doing? Oh, for fuck's sake, you ran out again? Come on, man. Farming is so hard nowadays. What you doing over here, Birdman? Now, tea or coffee? Decisions.
So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to check out the Zenistar, which is the 300-day logging reward. The Zenistar is a heavy blade that comes with its own weapon slot and a pre-installed potato. It does 130 heat damage with 5% critical chance, 200% critical multiplier, and 25% status chance. And this on its own would make it a pretty good status weapon. However, the Zenistar comes with a unique mechanic where if you do a charge attack in full melee mode, you will throw out the central disc, which will create a turret that lasts for 45 seconds and damages enemies that come within 4 meters of it. The disc will do 130 heat damage per tick. It has about 5% critical chance, but the status chance is higher than on the Zenistar. The AoE radius of the disc is affected by reach and primed reach. The damage tick frequency is affected by attack speed mods, and you can change the type of damage the disc does by simply using elemental combos on the Zenistar. Now by default, the Zenistar is pretty slow. It has an attack speed of 0.833, but when you throw out the disc, it will speed up and it will have an attack speed of 0.967. And at the same time, it will stop doing heat damage and start doing physical damage instead. It will still do 130 damage per hit, but it's going to be 104 in the form of slash, 13 as puncture, and 13 as impact. And it also seems to lose quite a bit of status chance. It doesn't lose all the status chance, but it is quite a bit lower when you throw out the disc. Now, even though it says 1 forma, this is a 0 forma build. I was just playing around with different builds, and this is the one that I ended up liking the most. So the stance I'm using is Rending Crane. You can change it to whatever you want, but I thought it would be nice to have at least one heavy blade with Rending Crane because I always use Tempo Royale or Cleaving Whirlwind, so I just kept it there. Then I'm using Primed Pressure Point for more damage, Primed Fury for more attack speed, and this is really necessary because without any attack speed mods, the weapon is really damn slow, especially if you don't throw out the disc. And it also increases the tick frequency on the disc itself. Then I'm using Primed Reach to increase the range of the weapon, which is always nice, but also to increase the AoE radius of the disc. Next, I have Spot Strike, which just stacks on top of Pressure Point and increases the damage the weapon does, even though it cripples the attack speed a little bit. And finally, I'm using 4 dual stat mods, which is Voltaic Strike and Virulent Scourge for corrosive damage, and Volcanic Edge with Vicious Frost for blast damage. Now, what this build is designed to do is to throw out the central disc and still keep the melee weapon in full melee mode, so you can proc slash, puncture, impact, blast, and corrosive on your own. However, if you just want to throw out the disc and switch to either a primary or a secondary weapon, I would recommend using 2 dual stat mods and 2 90% elemental mods. And this is because the disc on its own seems to have higher status chance than the Zenistar, and when you simply throw out the disc, 2 dual stat mods, which will give you 55% status chance, seems to proc status every time. So you can take advantage of that and use 2 90% elemental mods to do more damage. I honestly cannot think of a melee weapon that I would rather have in an endless mission or a mobile defense mission. This weapon is just really damn good. There were a few people that were really disappointed that they nerfed it by adding a 45-second duration on the disc, because previously it did not have any duration. You would just throw it out and it would sit there until you would recall it by doing another charge attack. But this is a very understandable change because people would just end up doing this. And that's A, not good for the game overall because people would be farming ludicrous amounts of resources while being AFK, and B, it's also boring as hell. So I understand why they gave it a 45-second timer. And it didn't hurt the weapon that much. It's still, in my opinion, the best status melee weapon in the entire game right now. Because honestly, what's better than throwing out a turret that lasts for 45 seconds, deals pretty good amount of damage, and procs whatever elemental combo you put on the Zenistar in a 10-meter radius? And while all of that is happening, you can still run around with the Zenistar and proc more status by just swinging it around. I really like how different this weapon feels, because with every other melee weapon, when I'm playing a survival mission, it's always the same. I go into a room, I kill dudes, then I go into another room, I kill dudes, I go back, I kill dudes, and that's basically it ad infinitum. With this weapon, I can run into a room and be like, okay, so this room has 2 entrances. I can cover my flank on the right with the disc while I fight all the dudes that come from the left. And it's also a good melee weapon for people that don't really like melee weapons because you can switch to it, throw down the disc, and switch back to your primary or a secondary weapon. Honestly, I was not expecting this weapon to be as good as it is versus the Corpus, Grenier, and the Corrupted. I was pretty sure it would stomp the Infested, which it does. It just demolishes any infested mission that you go into. But it's really good versus the other factions as well if you use the disc to guard a choke point. And let's not forget that even without throwing the disc, this is still a really good status weapon. It has a high status chance and it does a raw elemental damage. So if you don't have the Zenistar already, look forward to this baby because it's really damn good. And that's pretty much it for the video. So I thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.